So we completed all the required setups and we created the one requisition we submitted for approval. Anyway, we'll see that one second. So go to procurement. Under procurement, you can see the task called as purchase requisitions. Click on purchase requisition task. I just created one purchase requisition just now. Otherwise, if you are going to create the first requisition, it will take time to complete the approval process. If it is going to be second requisition, it will respond immediately. That is the reason I created this requisition 10 minutes ago. Anyway, let's see how to create the requisition. Click on more tasks, select enter requisition line. Select enter requisition line. You can create requisition with one or multiple lines. So item we created as a item number we have to provide. D1001 is the item, which is a MacBook. And you can provide the price, say $1,000. And system is defaulting these details from the requisition preferences. And you can select suggested buyer, say digital. If any urgency and all, you can set. So there is some urgency to get this MacBook, and already you've done with the negotiations with the so and so supplier. You can enable it's negotiated, and you may specify the supplier information also. But supplier information is not mandatory. The decision can be taken by purchasing department. If you want to suggest the supplier, you can provide the supplier information. That's how you can provide all these details. Based on the PO tab, system is deriving the charge account. Now you can click on add to cart. Add to cart. This line will be added to cart. By following the same process, you can add multiple lines also. You may add one more line with a different item or same item, and you can add to cart. Once you add one or multiple lines to cart, you can click on the total lines which are there in the cart. Just click on that. And if you want to view that requisition, yes, you can click on review. So how the requisition you are going to create, our system is going to create based on the requisition lines, you can review. If any change is required, you can do it. If everything is fine, you can submit for approval. Click on submit. Before submitting for approval, you can see how it would be routed for who is going to approve it, how to check we have seen in the last session. Say okay. So it takes some time to update the status. It has to contact the workflow, what are the rules we defined for requisition. So based on that, it will update the status. Take some time. Let's wait. Let me refresh this page to see the latest status. Requisition number is 2. You can go to manage requisitions. Provide requisition number as a 2. Below also you can see the same. Search. Pending approval. It takes some time. It has to validate the approval rules as per requisition workflow. Now you can see the status approved. If requisition is approved, you can go and create the purchase order based on this requisition, or else you can directly create the purchase order. Without requisition also, you can create the purchase order. Now we'll see how to create the purchase order. Under procurement, go to task called as purchase orders. Okay, purchase orders. Here, you can click on process requisitions. Ideally, approved requisitions will be displayed in the process requisitions task. Okay, So if you search for equation number 2, ideally that should be displayed here. It's approved. Somehow it is not coming. No worries. We'll create purchase order through manual process. You click on create order. Click on create order. Let's see how purchase order can be created. Supplier is digital INC. And select default ship to location, where the supplier has to ship that laptop to which location. Here you can specify the location. Say digital dollars is the location we created. Now just say create. Just click on create. Just wait for a moment. Based on the inputs what we provided, the purchase order will be created, and we have to enter the lines information within the purchase order. This is the purchase order header information. Okay. Now scroll a little down. Here you could see lines. We have seen invoice creation, the payables, we have header line distribution. The same way for PO also you can have a header lines and distribution. Along with that you can have a schedules also. We'll see that. So header information is created. Now here is the lines section. Click on add line. So we want to create the purchase order to purchase which item. Those item details you have to select. Item number is D0001. Just input that item number, tab out, it can fetch the item details. Or you can enter the just enter item number. Anything is fine. Just wait for a moment. It will fetch item. So this is item number D1001, and this is item description. And how much quantity? One quantity we are going to purchase. What is the base price? Say $1,000. And here you can see very limited fields. If you want to see other fields which are applicable, you can just go to view, columns, say show all. So what are the different columns are applicable? Line level, all the columns now you can see. Now basic, very basic columns by default you can see. You can enable additional columns to view at line level. Now you can see additional columns. Here you have to provide date, requested delivery date. We requested supplier to deliver on which date, or promised delivery date. Supplier promised to deliver on which date. So any one of the date you have to set. Now you can select any one of the dates. Say we requested supplier to supply by tomorrow. And here you can see match approval level. So two-way means our plan is we want to create invoice based on this PO. If you want to create invoice in the payables just based on the PO information, you can use two-way. Three-way means you want to create invoice in the payables including PO information and receipt information. Four-way means you want to create invoice in the payables based on the PO and receipt as well as inspected quantity. Okay, if there is a process called as inspection when you receive the material, so if you want to include that information also, Okay, how much quantity is accepted through inspection, those details you can include, and you can create the invoice in the payables application. How you are planning to create invoice in the payables, accordingly you can choose. I'm selecting two-way. When we create the next PO, we will choose three-way so that we can understand how invoice can be created based on the PO and the receipt also. Now, if you try to create invoice in the payables based on this PO, it won't look for any receipt because we are giving two-way matching. Two-way matching means invoice always we create based on the PO. When you select two-way, we are going to create invoice based on the PO. Means you have to select invoice match option as a order, not receipt. Receipt means along with the PO, we need receipt information. That is required in the three-way matching. So this is the two-way matching. We call it two-way matching. In the two-way matching, we create invoice. Invoice we create based on the purchase order. So set how you require. Now go to schedule tab. The schedule tab, what you can see is to which location supplier has to send the material and which inventory organization, those details you can see. Here also you can add additional columns which are applicable. By default, you can see very limited columns at line level, schedule level, and distribution level. So you can enable the columns. Here you can see. And go to distributions. Here system will take the charge account and a few other accounts also it will take. And here also under distributions, go to columns, say show all. Okay. Here you can see the same information whatever we provided in the line level. The same details you can see. Now click on save. Just click on save. So once you save this purchase order, what system will do is it will derive those accounts which are available as per PO tab. We are at distributions. Now here you can see account system is taken. The PO charge account, accrual account, PO variance account. These are the three accounts we have set as per PO tab. The same system is taken. If the setup is not available, system cannot complete this PO creation. Now click on submit. The PO will be submitted for approval. PO number is 1. By default, system is triggering the number from 1. We can set our design number for POs. The PO number should start from 1001 or 10,001, whatever you can set. For that, we have a separate task called as document numbering. But anyway, that is not our job. Let's proceed how to create the purchase order. We submitted. And now we can go to task list. Click on manage orders to check the status of this PO. What is the PO number? PO number is 1. Click on search. Since this is the very first PO we are creating after setting the approvals, it will take some time to update the status. We have seen the status for requisition as approved. We submitted requisition for approval since we configured approval rule as approve automatically if requisition is belongs to digital US business unit. That's how system approved automatically. So once requisition is approved, we could see the status as approved. But in case of PO, if PO is approved, you don't see the status as approved, the status would be open. When you see the PO status as open, it means it is approved. Why they are giving the status as open? PO is approved, it is open to create invoice in the payables, it is open to receive the material into inventory. How you planned accordingly, it is open to perform the sequence of activities. So that is the meaning of open. Once PO is approved, you can see the PO status as open. That we have to note. Just click on search. Still status is pending approval. Wait for some time. Search. It takes some time. You may click on this status. It will give the message as in progress, what exactly system is performing related to these approvals. That message also you can see. Sometimes you will get error message if system is not able to understand the action. You get error message, but anyway, it will approve and you can see the status. The approved information is currently unavailable. Try again later. So it is not in proper progress. So that is reason it is giving that message. Just wait, because this is the very first PO. From second PO, it won't take much time. Search. Again, clicking on the same status. Okay. Clicking on PO number. Here, click on the status. Let's see any update. Okay. The upload information is not available. Let's wait. Manage orders. Order number 1. Click on search. Approved information currently unavailable. So no worries, just let's wait for 2 minutes. I'll just pause the recording. Let's wait for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, we'll check the status. From the next PO, it will respond immediately. You can see the status for the PO without taking much time. Since it's a very first PO, taking time. Now you can see the status has open. Okay, took some time, that's it. So PO status is open, it means it is approved. If PO is approved, based on the PO, you can create invoice on the payables application. Let's see how to create invoice based on the PO. During this PO creation, we selected two-way matching. Invoice match option has only order. Means based on this PO, you can create invoice. If you select receipt within this PO, without creating the receipt against this PO, you cannot create invoice in the payables. But we selected invoice match option as a PO. It means, yes, you can create invoice in the payables based on just this PO information. Receipt is not required. So PO number is 1. Let's see how to create invoice in the payables. Go to payables, invoices task, task list, create invoice. 99% invoices are created in the payables based on the PO information or PO and receipt information. Rarely we enter invoices through manual process. So here you have to enter the PO number. PO number is 1. Supplier name is Digital INC. Search. If PO is approved, then only you can find the PO here. If PO is not approved, you don't find the PO in the payables to create invoice. Select this PO. Say OK. Now from the PO, system is defaulting the business unit and supplier information. And you can enter the invoice number. Other side, we receive the invoice from the supplier, but that supplier number we are going to take and rest of information we are going to take from the PO what we have in our system, not based on what supplier invoice given. So INC1 is the invoice number, say $1,000. Now the lines and distributions are created based on the PO information. Based on the PO information, system will create. We don't need to enter the lines and distributions for this invoice. When you create invoice by matching with the PO, what we have to do is, here we have a value called as match invoice lines. Click on go. Match invoice lines. Just click on go. You want to create invoice lines and distribution based on which PO, that information we have to specify. In the invoice header level, already we given PO. Based on that PO, system is displaying the information. These details are coming from the PO. The PO number is 1. So order quantity 1, available quantity is 1 within this PO. So now you can enable match. Now you received invoice for how much quantity? That quantity you can enter here. Enter how much invoice you received for how much quantity, 1 quantity. Then you can say apply. These details we are copying from PO to invoice. Enable match. Invoice you are creating for how much quantity, you can set and say apply and do OK. Now you can see system is creating invoice line and a distribution also. Click on distributions. So we configured few accounts as a part of PO tab. One of the account is accrual account. So the accrual account system will take for this invoice creation. So this is the accrual account what we given in the PO tab. That account is deriving. If you create, just validate this invoice and account it, you can see which accounting entry it would generate. So invoice is validated, submit for accounting. So when you create invoice by matching with the PO, you no need to create the lines and distribution. System can copy that lines and distribution information from the PO. That's how you can set a control. If supplier is giving invoice for 2000, you may enter 2000 in the invoice header level. But lines system will copy from the PO, that would be 1000, because PO you have for 1000, lines will be created for 1000. If supplier is giving invoice for 2000, you may enter in the header. When you submit for validation, you will come to know supplier given wrong amount. So now view accounting. What is the accounting entry? Accrual account is debit and liability account is credit. Make a note of this point. If you create invoice through manual process, expense account debit and liability credit, or item expense you can say. And in case of PO matched invoices, if you create invoice based on the PO, accrual account is debit and liability account is credit. From where system is taking this accrual account? From PO. From where system is taking into PO? From PO tab. This is what we have to make a note. So this is how you can create invoice based on the PO. Now we'll see PO creation and receipt creation. Based on the PO and receipt, we will create invoice. So go to purchase orders. The same process. Okay, go to purchase order workbench. And go to task list. Click on manage orders. Find out the purchase order, whatever we created and processed. Now you see the status of this PO. Earlier it was open. Now it is updating the status as a closed for invoice. Means against this PO invoice is created. That is the meaning of closed for invoice. You can click on life cycle for this PO. You can see again based on this PO what we created. You can see. So only based on this PO invoice is created. There is no receipt. There is no in transit process applicable for this. So this is how you can create PO and you can create the invoice against that. Let's create one more PO. So create order. Order is nothing but purchase order. Who is the supplier? Digital INC. And select ship to location. And say create. So header information is ready. You have to enter the lines information. Just click on add. So enter item number and use tab. It will fetch item details. And you can enter quantity. Say how many MacBooks you want to buy. One MacBook. And what is the base price? Say $1,000. And set any one of the date. Even if you don't see here as a mandatory, it won't allow you to process this PO without providing any one of the date. Scroll it till right. My plan is I want to create invoice in the payables against this PO, including receipt information. So set three-way and set invoice match option as a receipt. It means if I'm going to create an invoice against this PO, system will look for receipt. If receipt is not available against this PO, invoice cannot be created in the payables. So that's how you can provide the details and go to schedules. The schedules, you can see receipt routing. How you are going to create the receipt? Direct delivery. It's one step you want to create the receipt. Okay. So distribution and all system will take care. Now click on save and you can submit this PO for approvals. Submit. You don't need to click on save. Directly you can click on submit also. You can save and submit for approvals. PO number is 2. Okay, PO number is 2. We are submitting for approval. Once this PO is approved, we can create receipt against this PO. Okay. The document, purchase order document 2 was submitted for approval. Say okay. Done. Okay. Now it will take some time to approve, update the status as approved. Let's go and check. It won't take much time because already we create one PO. This is second PO. It is not going to take the same time to update the status. See, now the status is open. Immediately it updated. Now let's see how to create the receipt against this PO. Under supply chain execution, okay. So you are able to see this section because we assigned inventory roles to this user. Under supply chain execution, you can see the task called as inventory management. Click on inventory management task. Click on inventory management task. And this user has access to digital dollars inventory. So we are going to receive the material into digital dollars. We are going to receive the laptop into this inventory. Click on task list and here select drop down value as a receipts. We are going to create the receipt. We are going to receive the material from supplier against approved purchase order. Click on receive expected shipments. So what is the PO number? PO number is 2 and click on search. Since PO is approved, you are able to find the PO here. Otherwise, you don't find the PO even created. It should be approved. Then only you can find in the receipt creation page. Now select the same PO. The document number is nothing but PO number. Select record and click on receive. Click on receive. Now you can enter the quantity. Okay, you can enter the quantity. How much quantity you are receiving? Only one quantity. Your destination type is inventory. You are taking directly into inventory, not into staging. If it is a staging, you can see here destination type as receiving because we given direct delivery as a part of PO. So directly we are taking the material into inventory. So within this dollars inventory, you want to take that one laptop or MacBook into which sub inventory. You have to select sub inventory into computer sub inventory. Even field is not mandatory. Without selecting, it won't allow. Now click on create receipt. Click on create receipt and click on submit. Now system will create the receipt against this PO. The receiving parameters we given next receipt as a 1, but reality system will use that as a last receipt, and whatever the receipt it will create, it will give the number as a 2. Okay, it will give the number as a 2. We have to understand that field as that is the last receipt number what we enter, the next one it will trigger. Now see, the receipt number is 2. Receipt 2 was created. Say okay. Now we can go and create invoice in the payables. System will allow us to create invoice against the PO number 2. Reason receipt also created. Receipt is mandatory to create invoice against the PO as per the PO information. So go to payables. Task list. Create invoice. Enter PO number. Supplier information, search. Select, say okay. I can see 2. Invoice amount as per supplier invoice you can enter. As per our PO and receipt information, it will create lines and distribution. Now click on go. If receipt is not created against PO number 2, you don't find this record in this page. It doesn't display this. So here you can see ordered quantity is 1, received quantity is 1. Now enable match, quantity is 1. Click on apply. Just click on apply, then say okay. Now you can see Line is created and you can check distribution also will be available. Now submit this invoice for validation. It's just suggesting it could be duplicate invoice. No. Again, submit for validation. Done. Validated. So this is how you can create invoice based on the PO and receipt. Now we'll see how to create invoice in the payables automatically based on the receipt. That concept we call as pay and receipt. Means we want, if you want to pay to supplier based on the receipt, you can create invoice and you can pay. You may not wait for supplier invoice. Even if you receive the invoice from the supplier, if you are going to pay to the supplier based on what you received, you can create invoice in the payables based on the receipt. The same you can call as a self-billing. Means you are billing yourself. Instead of supplier will bill and we receive the invoice and we enter in our system, we are creating invoice based on supplier, based on the receipt information. That is the reason you can call it self-billing. Another other name is ERS. ERS stands for evaluated receipt settlement. That is one of the source which generates invoice automatically in the payables based on the receipt. So we have to complete few setups at supplier site level. That means against so-and-so supplier site, if any receipt is created, system should create invoice in the payables automatically. That's how we have to set one checkbox so that system can create invoice in the payables automatically if you create receipt. Let's see that. Go to supplier, the procurement, go to supplier's task. Go to manage suppliers. Our supplier name is Digital INC. Click on edit. And go to sites. Click on edit. Now, go to invoicing tab. Not invoicing. Go to purchasing tab. Go to purchasing tab. Under purchasing tab, you can see one checkbox called as pay and receipt. Enable the checkbox and invoice summary level set to pay site. It has to summarize the information site-wise. Set these two checkboxes and these two options and say save and close. From now, if you create any purchase order against this supplier site, system will mark as invoice need to be created automatically in the payables whenever receipt is created against the same PO. We'll see that. So process is create PO and create receipt. System will create invoice in the payables. For that, just we have to submit one program. Let's see that. Create purchase order first. Go to task list. Create order. Supplier name. So Digital INC. So select ship to location and say create. Now you see system is defaulting this pay and receipt. Reason, the supplier site level we enable. Means against this PO, if you create receipt, system will create invoice in the payables automatically, since this checkbox is defaulting from the site. So add line information. Just click on add line information. So we selected item, quantity is 1, price I'm entering $500, and set requested delivery date or promised delivery date. Any one of the date you can set. I'm setting tomorrow as a delivery date where supplier has to supply, which we requested. And other details, okay, other details system is not going to consider, because it is going to create the receipt. Based on receipt, it will create invoice. We are not going to create invoice based on PO or receipt through matching process. We are not going to create. If we are going to create, whether it is based on the order or based on the receipt, you can select. Now you are not going to create. The system is going to create. You can keep this information, whatever you want to keep. Let it be. It is not going to consider this information. Now you can submit this PO. PO number is 3. PO number is 3. We created PO. Okay. So it will approve, it will update the status. It won't take much time. Meantime, just go to receipt creation page. Under supply chain execution, go to inventory management task. Go to inventory management. Go to task list. Already receipts selected. Click on receive expected shipments. Click on receive expected shipments. Now you can search for the PO. PO number is 3. If PO status is approved, you can find here. Hope it is approved. Not yet approved. Let's wait. I think it's still in the approval process. Manage orders. Now status is approved. Go to inventory management, task list. Click on receive expected shipments. PO number is 3. Find out. Select. Click on receive. How much quantity? 1 quantity we are going to receive. What system will do is it will create invoice in the payables by taking quantity from the receipt, price from the PO. PO level we given price as a $500. How much quantity? 1 quantity. 1 quantity 500 means 500. So you have a like a 10 quantity in the PO, but you are receiving 2 quantity. Price is 500. Then it will calculate and accordingly it will create invoice in the payables. When system creates invoice in the payables, it picks quantity from the receipt, price from the PO. That's how it can create the invoice in the AP.
Yeah, Lakshman.
Yep.
Suppose if we receive parcel quantity, so I mean in PO we have two
Same
quantity.
example I explained. So PO is 10 quantity, you receive 2 quantity.
Okay.
Now it will take 2 quantity, price is $500 unit price. Then it will create invoice for how much amount?
$1,000.
That's it.
But we have selected matching as two-way, right? While adding the PO line.
Are you matching here?
No.
No.
Yeah, we
Right?
are not matching.
We are not matching. That is the reason that is not applicable. The same point I explained.
Okay.
Yeah, it may be two-way, three-way, any option you choose. System is not going to consider. Reason? Are you going to create invoice from the payables by matching? No.
No. Okay.
When you create invoice by matching, the matching related information system will consider. You are not matching. What system is going to do? It is going to create invoice automatically based on the receipt information.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. Now select sub inventory and click on create receipt. Submit. It will create a receipt. The next receipt number would be 3. So now what we have to do is, yeah, receipt number is 3. Now we have to submit one program. The program will identify the available receipts which need to be converted as invoices where pay and receipt is applicable. Go to schedule processes under tools, click on schedule processes. Tools, schedule processes. Click on schedule new process. Click on schedule new process. To create invoice based on the receipt information, we have one program called as send pay and receipt. So you search for the same. Send pay and receipt. Wait for a moment, it will fetch the job and we can submit. We have to submit this program or else you may schedule it. You may schedule it. As a part of like auto reversal, auto posting we discussed, how to schedule any program. The same is applicable. Say send pay and receipt, select, say okay. What it will do, it will create invoices automatically based on the receipt which are available in the inventory. Say okay. Transaction source, select as ERS. ERS is the source system will use for this process. And you don't need to select receipt number and all. You accept default parameters and click on submit and say okay. Refresh. Now it will create invoice and the payables based on the receipt and PO information. From PO, it will pick the price and it will look at the quantity as per receipt. Based on this quantity and price, it will create invoice in the payables. And it will create the report also. How many invoices are created, the payables, the report it will generate. So when you are submitting this program, if you want to create invoice only for specific PO, specific receipt, yes, you can give the receipt number also. You can give the receipt number, it will generate only for the receipt. So if you click on OK, you can see the parameter called as receipt number. You may give the receipt number as 3. It will run this process only for 3. Now it will try to run for all the available receipts. For how many BUs this user has access, for all it will try to submit. Now send pay and receipt program completed. And it is just importing payable invoice. It is importing the payable invoice from the inventory to, means it will take the data from, it will collect the data from inventory and PO to ERS. source. From there, it will trigger the process of invoice creation. Now, system is importing the payables invoice from the ERS source. It will create invoice and it will generate the report also. The report you can see how many invoices are created and what is the invoice number, all the details you can see. Okay. So select this report, click on republish. Click on this gear icon, select PDF. So many are created because we didn't select our PO. That is the reason many are created. Now you can search for our supplier. Okay, for digital. Okay, digital INC, one invoice is created. Invoice number is starting with ERS. This is the invoice created in the payables. We'll go and check. Go to invoice workbench. Now you can click on this incomplete section. This user got access to many BUs. For many BUs, receipts are created. For those receipts, pay and receipt is applicable. That is the reason these many pay and receipt invoice are created. But where is our invoice? Here is our invoice, digital INC. This is the one. Okay. So system created this invoice. We are not creating. We are not matching and all. Okay. So click on purchase order section. You can see this invoice is created based on which purchase order and all. So that's how you can create invoice based on the receipt, you can say. The moment you create receipt, system will collect that receipt and the PO information as a ERS source, and it creates invoice and the payables whenever you submit the program. So that's all about pay and receipt concept. Okay, that's all about pay and receipt concept. I think in the payables, this we're done with this. Now, one more topic is pending, that is invoice approvals. From GL side, already we tested journal approvals, approval group based, and employee supervisory approvals. The same way you can create the approvals from the payables also, but workflow is different. Anyway, we'll go and see how we can set up the approvals here. So go to our implementation project. So we have seen how we can set up the approvals based on the approval group and by following the employee supervisory approval hierarchy also. Now for payables to test the invoice approvals, let's create one approval group and we'll create invoice and we will approve or we will set somebody as a approver with the help of approval group. Or you can set employee supervisor. Same how you created in the GL, same you can set up for payables invoices. Fine. Search for approval groups. So manage approval groups. Click on go to task icon. It will take us to BPM. Create one approval group. Say digital AP invoice approval group. Who can approve the invoices? You can add those members into this group. Only digital can approve. Say okay. If the user is available, then system accepts. Otherwise, it doesn't allow. Now save it. Now we'll go and create the approval rule for invoice approvals. Go to task configuration. And before that, we have to complete one setup in the payables. We'll complete, then we'll proceed with this. Else you can complete later also. No worries. Go to invoice options. The invoice options, we have to enable invoice approvals for our business unit. Manage invoice options. Select our business unit. So here, if you look at the approval section, you can here you can see one checkbox called as enable invoice approvals. Okay, enable invoice approvals. You have to enable that checkbox so that if you are going to create any invoice within this business unit, approvals will become mandatory. Now go to task configuration, find approval workflow which is available for payables. You can search like fin, F capital, IN small, and AP. There's a case sensitive. Okay. When you search for any workflow, it's case sensitive. And you have to click on this search icon only. If you use enter key from the keyboard, it doesn't respond. Here is the workflow. Pin AP invoice approval. Same points we have to consider. We have seen how to enable, disable the nodes, how to create the rule. The same is applicable for invoice approvals also. We configured approval rule for journals in the GL. In the same way, you can set up any approvals, maybe approval group based or employee supervisory based approvals you can set up. So select FinAP invoice approval workflow. It will fetch the entire definition. You can just enable edit and you can create the rule by using any one of the node. Wait for a moment, it will fetch. So it's taking time, let's wait. Let me make a note of these points. What setups we performed, let me list out. Enable invoice approvals. The checkbox name itself enable invoice approvals. So enable invoice approvals in invoice options. Then you can create approval group, or else you can create employee supervisory relationship. Whatever we discussed in GL, same. The same you can use here also, but instance is different that we create in the different environment. And you can create approval rule. And create invoice and you can test. The rule itself, you can specify the conditions and all. So already it is in the edit mode. Go to assignees. Here is the workflow. Many nodes are enabled. I am going to disable most of the nodes except one. Disable. I'm going to enable this node. Save. And say commit. So commit is equal to deploy. We deployed requisition workflow and purchase order workflow. This deploy is equal to this commit is equal to deploy here. The name they given as a commit is equal to deploy. Now again click on edit mode. Click on edit. Go to assignees. So select the node whatever you want to use for approval rule definition. Just click on this blue dot, select go to rule option. This is a default rule which Oracle provides that you can disable. Inactivate, say OK. Let's create our own rule. Say general rule. And click on properties and name it as digital. You can give any condition. Okay. More than else same or more than $1. You can say 1,000. Same or more than 1,000. Who can approve the invoice we are setting? You may create one more rule. Less than 1,000 who can approve. If select simple test, invoice amount. Click on search. Say invoice amount. Expand this invoice amount folder. Select long value expression. Directly you can select invoice amount also, but Oracle recommends this long value. These all are different classes in the Java. So what you want to do, same or more than 1000. So select expression as same or more than. Don't enter amount directly in this field, enter through the search. Enable constant. Enter 1000. Say okay. If invoice amount is same or more than 1000, then who can approve? Select here, add approver, approval group. Select approval group, digital AP invoice. Now just click on validate. No error messages. Save it. And commit. And the synchronization we have to complete. You just click on start synchronization. It will take few minutes. How you can identify the synchronization is completed? Here there is a process icon. The moment you click on start synchronization, the process got started. Once this will get stopped, you can understand the synchronization is completed. It will take few minutes time, 2 to 5 minutes it will take. So I'll just pause the recording. We'll wait for those 2 to 3 minutes. Once that synchronization is completed, we can proceed to the next step. So it took more than 5 minutes time. Now you can see the status as a idle. Earlier it was in process. Now we can go ahead and we can check. Just let me refresh this page. So it should not display that synchronization message. Meantime, we'll go to invoice workbench. Let's try to create invoice. So we give an amount as same or more than 1000. Digital can approve. We are creating invoice with 5000. Just pick any one of the code combination. Submit invoice for validation. For this invoice, approvals are required. Just try to make the payment for this invoice. Since approvals are required, this invoice must be approved before it can be paid. Now go to invoice actions and go to approval and say initiate approval. And submitting for approval. Okay. And here you can see view approval and notification history. Here you can see invoice approval initiated by digital. It's showing that field column as approver, but not approver. Who is initiated, it is showing. Who is approved, then that person will become approver. Here reality digital is approver, but that statement is doesn't talk about it. So you can, this digital will, who is the right approver, that approver will get the notification. Yeah, the notification will come in this bell icon, or else there is a separate page. Go to payables dashboard. There also you can see the notification. So here you can find that notification requiring my approval. Means if anybody is submitting, or doesn't matter who is submitting, if any invoice is approved by, need to be approved by this user digital, it will come under here. Refresh. The approval process is synchronized. Whatever we submitted, the notification will be triggered, and you can see notification under my approvals, requiring my approvals. Here it will display. May take some time. So here, so everything is fine. So nothing is pending for synchronization, means the approvals will take place. Better you can sign out and sign in. Just sign out and sign in and check for the notification. Payables, invoices, notification should come to this user. Payables dashboard. Let's wait for some time, because this is the very first invoice we are creating after setting up the approval. It may take some time. Go to notifications, click on show all. I think we have, wait, it will take some time. So let's wait for 2 minutes. Okay, we don't have any option. Since it's a very first transaction after approval, it takes some time. It doesn't reflect immediately. Let's wait for 2 minutes. So notification is not triggering. Why not triggering? Go to tools, go to transaction control console. Here you can find if anything is failed, you can see here related to approvals. Okay, under tools, go to transaction console. Nothing is coming here also. Even it is not showing created by me also. So let's create one more invoice and we'll try. So let's create one $2,000, 2,000. You can pick any one of the existing code combination and validate and submit this invoice for approval. Say initiate. Done. Now you can see the first one. Now it is coming. It took time. Maybe we are not sure whether the invoice what we created just now as invoice number, that might have pushed this notification also, the triggering process. Anyway, so you can see require my approval. The first invoice what we create INC 11 with the 5,000 it is coming. Since this digital is the approval. Now select, approve it. you may write some comments and you may reject. So this is how you can set up rule and you can route the notification for approval. And the one more invoice we created just now with the 2000, it may take some more time. It's just the workflow is very, very slow, seems to. That is the reason it took that much time. So this is what just we have to understand about this setup related to invoice approvals. I think in the receivables, automatic receipts are pending. Along with that, we have to test O2C cycle. We'll plan. Tomorrow session, we'll see the automatic receipts and we'll start with O2C cycle so that we can close the rest. And again, another point mentioned. So we'll see how we can copy the setups from one instance to another instance, how to create the configuration package. So that also we'll see. Hardly two more sessions, we can close everything.